You're tuned into All Too Real 2. Be sure to subscribe, download, share the show with a friend, and stop by alltooreal2.com for our social links, Patreon, and TeePublic store info.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Fergal.
And we're from Movie Smash.
Comic book movies are having a golden age right now with the MCU.
Movies based on comics aren't necessarily a new thing, but they're a big thing.
Join us every other Tuesday on Movie Smash.
We explore these movies and find some hidden gems.
Every other week, we revisit some of the best.
And some of the worst movies based on comics or graphic novels.
Was Green Lantern as bad as you remember?
Heck no!
Is Time Cop the most accurate time travel movie ever created?
Absolutely.
Was Mystery Men way ahead of its time?
Should they be revisited? Should they be forgotten?
Join us on Movie Smash and find out. Listen wherever you find your fine podcasts.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is
Sesame and Carter. Sesame 2 minutes for personal talks. And Carter. I can't sing, I can play though.
that was beautiful.
Thanks.
You sound like an angel.
Yeah, how about this? Ooh, that's very angel, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, I will remind you, though, that Lucifer was an angel, too.
That is true. That is. Yes, for saying that. Now you get this. Enjoy hearing that all night.
Oh, boy. So, how's it going there, Sesame?
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those years, one of those decades,
Yes, one of those lights.
Yeah, one of those liars.
Oh, boy. I mean, having a bad life crisis, not a midlife crisis, just
Life crisis in general. Most things, but reincarnation and the next life's also going to be kind of stupid and dumb.
So if like a cat had a midlife crisis, would that be like its like fifth life or something?
It would be its 4.5 life.
Oh,
Please, I'm going to look that up sometime. Like why?
then what? 9 lives or?
Why? Why? I just do really short searches. Admit that cats have 9 lives comes from their incredible agility, reflexes, and survival instinct, making them seem almost supernatural in escaping danger, combined with the number 9 being considered lucky or magical in ancient cultures like Egypt, where cats were revered and linked to deities, though they only have one. Yeah, I think I know that. It's like, I don't know, the AI interview, the overview still has to be like, no, they only got one life. Oh, wow.
We know that reincarnation doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Has anybody truly ever proved that it doesn't? I'm just saying.
I mean, no, but no one proved God either. So it's like it all depends on belief, really. I actually have a really interesting book, like really old book from like the 1930s, where it's reincarnation gets described through various religions throughout the ages. And there's a whole section about actually early Christians, different groups of early Christians that actually believe in reincarnation. Like they show like some quotes from like some of the early church fathers who had quotes that very, very suspiciously lean towards reincarnationism, like very similar to like Buddhist teachings. And of course, they'll say that's not what they're like. Okay, well, take it up with that guy, because
I think a lot of things too, like with the early church, there were a lot of like taking on different ideas from different religions, and some of them just got filtered out over the years. So yeah.
Right. This all the political things get codified. Even in Islam, there is also some quotes from some of the people that suggested that maybe reincarnation is real. It's really interesting stuff. I'm not sure why I even got in on. Oh, it's because we sort of deal with the mystical in our next episode. Well,
I mean, I do think that in my past life, I was a podcaster.
And it's kind of sad because He could have done something different. It's like,
Which is really weird because
there was no podcast until
I was born well before the invention of iPods, let alone podcasts. So,
podcast comes from of course, duh.
mhm.
Oh yeah, all right. I didn't even make that connection. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
that's where
sense.
the word comes from.
But like, there's probably people doing shit like this without
Oh yeah.
my pod. Like,
Oh, yeah. There was this thing called radio.
well, what I mean though is like people like us, like not having.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like not like having to get like an actual deal from a radio station or whatever. Like,
Yeah, when I was a little kid, my grandfather and I used to take audio cassettes, and my grandpa and I did a radio show in his kitchen. I had a little tape recorder, and we did a little show where I was the host, and then I had like little characters that I would do, and he was my band leader.
beautiful.
And then anytime I wanted to play music, I just turned the radio on to like the classical music station.
You're right. Can't do that now.
I know. I still have a bunch of those tapes. I'm looking to pretty soon to try to get those digitized. And no, it was cool. Yeah, I had a character who was a foreign guy, which was probably completely racist at the time. His name was Miki Kubalaga.
Oh my God.
It was just a name I made up. I don't know.
Mickey. And then
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yes, and then my it's like on the Tonight Show there was Doc Severinsen was the band leader on there, and so my grandpa came up with the name Doc Bernstein. That was his name. That's his band leader name. Oh, yep, good times.
Yeah, man.
Anywho, speaking of family and things like that, today we're covering a show called Wonderfalls, which lasted less than a season on Fox back in
2004.
2004. We're covering the unaired pilot, which is a shorter version of the pilot that actually aired. The pilot that actually aired was called Wax Lion.
And 42. This one's only 38.
Yeah, and the this was aired in a 4:3 aspect ratio, whereas the actual season 1, episode 1 was aired in 16:9. So
Different era. Now, if you didn't tell me this was made for Fox, I still would have known because Fox had a very distinct style at that time for their shows. It just I don't know how to even explain it. There's just something shot or whatever. Like
it has a Fox feel, but it also had like a WB feel too. But yeah, no, it didn't have an ABC, CBS, or NBC feel. Yeah.
they shoot things or just something else about them that has the cut scenes or maybe the music they put in the background.
Yeah.
Like I definitely could have clocked this around 2005, maybe 2003 Fox type of show. I'm surprised though, because the eras are so different. This got 4.31 million views for the pilot. The other one got millions. Nowadays, they would be praising that. Like, this episode got 5 million views. And like, that's like seen as like the greatest time. Now, back then it was like,
if you take like say the lowest rated sitcom that aired in like 1986, take their numbers and put that on TV today, it would be the number one show in the country.
it's so just bizarre.
It's just weird. But I mean, it makes sense because you've got everything's so bifurcated, and you've got like people watching YouTube and Netflix and Hulu and all that shit. And so.
Yeah.
No, nobody. I mean, not nobody, but a lot of people don't watch TV on TV anymore, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
But anyways, the Internet Movie Database short synopsis, not for this episode because they don't have one. I'll give you the short synopsis for the actual
show,
the first episode that aired. It says Jaye is coerced into helping a stranger against her better judgment and desire to avoid human interaction when a wax lion at the Wonderfalls gift shop begins talking to her. So yeah, because I watched the actual pilot, and it's pretty much the same exact thing, except for 2 actors are replaced, and they have a few added scenes. Like,
why they didn't air that, then they changed it. Don't quite understand.
Well, basically what it is that the unaired pilot is something that they send to the network for look at. and then the network will be like, oh, that we like this concept, we'll pick up the show. And then sometimes between the time where you shoot the pilot that they're looking at and the time it airs, you'll lose an actor because they committed to something else.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I noticed that because one time I had downloaded, from, a website of a certain nature, the Transparent, the show about the person coming out as transgender one, and the pilot episode had a trans person's daughter going on a walk with her best friend, just talking about shit. But then in the one I downloaded, she was talking to a completely different actress. So they switched her with the woman that's I forgot the woman that was in Portlandia with whatever, I forgot her name. But
I forgot her name off the top of my head too. But yeah,
she became like the regular cast member now.
Yeah, it's like they'll do that a lot, and sometimes they'll rework things. Like I found, which it's going to sound weird because I hate the show that I want to cover in the future is the unaired pilot for Big Bang Theory. The reason I want to cover it because it's completely different than the actual show.
Oh, that's right. I think I remember you telling me about this once. It actually seemed like a decent show.
I don't think it seemed like a decent show, but it's interesting to see how I understand why they chose to do what they did with the show, because there were things not working in this when I watched it. But I will tell you, I don't like Big Bang Theory, but I get its appeal. Where there are some things that I just don't get the appeal of, So,
right.
Yeah.
So could I mention to you how I chose this episode?
Sure.
It's really weird. My uncle was asking me to look up a song by Andy Partridge. He's the lead singer and songwriter of XTC. They on Dear God, a bunch of other good stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I look him up, and one of the things that pop up is the song called "I Wonder Why the Wonderfalls," and then it's a picture, and I was like, "Oh, okay, he must have." I guess, written a song for a TV show, and then I looked it up, and like the whole series there's lots of good, like people out there on YouTube, like there's lots of shows that like entire seasons are uploaded, like shows that never made it or whatever. Like it's interesting. And so that's how I found it. I mean, that's how I learned about the show base. I may have like known about it at the time and just had completely forgotten about it, but yeah, that's how I did it. Andy Partridge, XTC.
Yeah,
really good band. If anyone wants to check them out, they have a lot of cool
great band. Yeah. And Dear God is one of the best songs ever written.
Really good.
I mean, it works even if you are a staunch believer in God. It still works, even though it's an anti-God song in a way.
Right. Yeah.
The show was written by Todd Holland and Brian Fuller. Todd Holland, he directed this episode too. He directed the Fred Savage classic, The Wizard. He directed episodes of Malcolm in the Middle. He directed TV show So Help Me Todd, Not Dead Yet, Grace and Frankie, Mr. Mayor, The Unicorn, The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. These are just recent ones. And if you go back, he did. He's been doing stuff since the 80s. He directed episodes of Max Headroom. My So-Called Life, which is an amazing show, which I want to cover the pilot of that sometime. Felicity, whatnot. That's with this directing as a writer. He wrote recently Monster High 2. He wrote Wonderfalls, and he's co-creator of the show, and he wrote things for a TV movie called Five Houses and some episodes of Amazing Stories and a short film called Chicken Thing.
All right.
Yes, which is now my favorite name for anything. And Brian Fuller went on after this to have a pretty successful television career. He recently was the creator and writer of Star Trek Discovery. He developed for television the TV series American Gods. He developed for television the TV series Hannibal, based on the Hannibal Lecter things. He wrote episodes of Heroes. He created and wrote Pushing Daisies, which was another short-lived show that we might cover in the future. He and this is interesting because I forgot that this was the same guy. Watching this, I had a feeling. I was like, this feels like the tone of Dead Like Me, which he also created. That was another good short-lived show.
Yeah.
So he's got a pretty great career here. And I mean, he started before that with working on Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Voyager. So yeah.
Yeah, I found this too from the Wikipedia. How do you pronounce her name? Dhavernas or Dhavernas?
The main actor.
The main actor.
Caroline Dhavernas. I don't know, Dhavernas, something like that, probably.
I was listening to you, but then I ended up seeing this name. It said Dhavernas portrayed Jaye Tyler, the central character of Wonderfalls, which debuted on US, blah, 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 blah. She, overeducated underachiever from a wealthy family who lives in a trailer park and works at the Wonderfalls Gift Emporium. The show's premise is that Jaye is spoken to by inanimate object, which encourages her to help others. Dhavernas that described the show as being, quote, like, touched by an angel on acid. Like, that's what it kind of is. Anyway, but
yeah, so the star does. Speaking of her, the show stars Caroline Dhavernas, whatever it is Jaye Tyler. We got Katie Finneran as Sharon Tyler. We've got Tyron Leitso or something. I don't know how to pronounce his name as Eric Gotts. William Sadler as Darrin Tyler. We've got Diana Scarwood as Karen Tyler. We've got Adam Scott as Aaron Tyler. And we've got Kerry Washington as Mahandra McGinty. So, trivia off the top here. Right. The original pilot version of the show, the role of the brother Aaron was played by Adam Scott, who was unable to commit to the rest of the series, and then they hired Lee Pace, who Lee Pace actually played Evan McCone in The Running Man, which we covered recently. Yeah. So he was like the main hunter in that. Yeah. But he's been in a bunch of different things, Ronin and Captain Marvel and other Marvel projects.
Yeah.
So yeah, they replaced him. And then Mahandra was played by Kerry Washington. And I'm not sure why she didn't come back, but they replaced her with Tracy Toms, who people may know from playing Joanne in the Brent movie. And she was also on TV show Cold Case for years. And she's a Facebook friend of mine. But anyways, who, if you're happening to listen to this for any reason, even though you're not in this episode we're covering, if you want to be on the show, Tracy, let me know. That's our cast and stuff. Like I said, basically the episode was kind of the same as the one that actually aired on Fox, but just a little shorter and different actors. But it's like even like Adam Scott's only in like one scene in this episode too. Yeah.
He's very much like not in.
Yeah.
He's like literally in the trailer at one point. And that's pretty much.
Yeah, same thing with Kerry Washington. She's barely in it. I think in the actual extended up scenes, I'm trying to remember because it's been a couple days since I've seen it. I think both of those characters are a little bit more fleshed out in the episode. But so, anyways, what'd you think of this?
I liked it. I might watch the whole series that's up on YouTube. I thought it was kind of funny. Again, could very much Fox 2004 era comment. A very distinct style at that time. And but yeah, no, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, like I said, I liked it a lot, and I didn't. I had this feeling like the way it was written and everything. It reminded me of Dead Like Me, and that's one of my favorite shows of all time. So it's like that was kind of cool. I recommend that show highly. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Sesame. So it's streaming on a bunch of different apps, I think, for free at different places and stuff. It's a great show. The concept of that is this main character who is very similar personality to Jaye in this, like doesn't care about life and shit like that, dies, and then is basically has to help usher people into the afterlife with a bunch of other people. She comes back and she's basically living as a new person. They give her a new name and stuff like that. And when people look at her, they don't see what she used to look like, but she still sees what she used to look like in the mirror and shit. So,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Mandy Patinkin was in the show and some other people. It was really good. But anyways, this episode I really liked. I thought it was a really good feel, and I guess I can understand why the show didn't continue, but I don't know. I understand. At that time, there were probably a lot of factors that went into it. Also want to mention that Lee Pace actually is the lead actor in Pushing Daisies, which is another show created by Brian Fuller. So yeah. And then he went on to take over for Adam Scott. So yeah. So what do you want to talk about here on this?
I don't know. I mean, like the plot's pretty straightforward. I mean, this figurine starts. Well, this woman. Okay, so she is like one of those mold-orama toy maker things or whatever.
Yeah.
She goes and gets one of like a lion, and she complains that it doesn't look right, and that she wants a 10% discount because her hotel said that she gets some discounts for some of the stores nearby, and that was one of them. And so they get into an argument, and then she wants, her $3.85. Wow,
Heard of this? We hear the story of the Niagara Falls made of the mist.
Right, yeah. There's this whole like mythology about. By the way, that reminded me too about that. So so we're talking about Native Americans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your Native Canadians, or what the Americas, the North America.
Indigenous people. Yeah.
Indigenous people from this region.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this was on purpose. Maybe they were like nodding, like a nudge, like wink, wink type thing. But I swear to God, there was like at least 2 or 3 occasions where they start playing music that sounds inspired by Indian music. And by India, I mean India music, but we're talking about Native American. So I hope, but then again, I don't know if I can hope anymore for humanity, because I'm hoping that they did that on purpose. But again, I might be giving them way too much credit.
Or it could be that just the composer was inspired by that type of music and it was just playing at a different,
probably want to do something different because of the context. But there's this mythology about the god of the waterfalls. He ends up there's like this little kid that she's telling this story to at the beginning, and it's like, they gave this guy like a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't good enough. So then they thought of like sacrificing, one of their humans, and the kid's like, the Native Americans didn't practice human sacrifice. Do you want to hear the story or not?
She tries to convince the kid to buy there's a video about it, but it's like, why would you buy the video if you were just told the whole story?
Told the whole story, exactly, about, I don't know, probably because she just didn't give a shit. So, yes, Niagara, so it's like there's a lot of romance for, because a lot of people go get married there. And
interesting thing too is they filmed this in the Canadian side, but it takes place on the American side.
Right. She's a Canadian actress, so
yeah, because she has a French Canadian accent normally.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, she doesn't really sound like she does in the show. So
okay, but yeah, and so like basically just this red lion figurine starts talking to her, telling her not to give the woman her money back, and she just does it anyways. But then as soon as she leaves, someone snatches her purse away and takes it. And so it's like, oh, I told you not to give her money or whatever. So that's pretty much what goes down is like these figurines are telling her what to do, and usually something good for the other person. So it's like, again, this is kind of like Touched by an Angel on acid a little bit.
It's interesting you talk about those like mold-orama type things or whatever. There used to be this thing. I mean, they still have it. Children's Wonderland every Christmas time in the Northwest Ohio area. Used to be at the rec center in Maumee. I worked it a few years and stuff like that, but I used to go every year, and they had those where you could get these like little Donald Ducks or Santa Clauses and stuff from the machines, and I can still smell them. I can still smell that wax, like the wax like going in there and making the mold. I used to have a bunch of them, but after a while they would start to crumble.
Oh, really?
But like I had this Donald Duck that I had a bunch of them over at my grandparents' house, and I used to play with them all the time. And then like I remember Donald's head fell off on the one, and my grandpa tried to like glue it back on for me, and it just wasn't working.
Right.
Yeah.
It's probably just cheap, kind of cheapish.
The thing is it's kind of wax, but it's like it's really a plastic, but waxy plastic.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so she's not supposed to, give the money back to the woman, but she ends up doing it, and because then the woman gets her purse stolen right outside the store, and then what happens?
She fainted like a few minutes later because her like manager or whatever was like one of her coworkers, but now he's on a power trip because he's the assistant manager, and he looks like some kind of stoner kid, but I don't know. And her family's basically just doing like an intervention, which they don't call an intervention, even though that's exactly what it is. And her dad I don't know. I know they're trying to be funny, but why they do this, I don't know. Her mom suggests seeing a psychiatrist and get her on some kind of medication for depression, which she swears that she's not depressed. But then the mother goes, no, you are depressed. Kind of reminds me of that song, Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies, where they keep like, you should talk about your problems, bro. You should talk about it. It's like, no, I don't want to. I'm fine. Just leave me alone. Just give me a Pepsi, please. No, I'm not going to give you a Pepsi. It's like, just a Pepsi. Just a Pepsi. Anyway. And so, he's like, oh, no. Her father's like, no, this pills aren't the only thing that work or whatever. Then he knocks on her door that she ties, by the way. So she doesn't even have a door lock. This is how important she is. She has a tie for a door. And he's like, honey, when's the last time that you've had an orgasm? She's 24 years old. Why are you asking your 24-year-old daughter when the last time that she's had?
I mean, this family almost kind of feels like the family on like Arrested Development or something. Not completely not as weird, but it's like one of these almost like upper crust families that, waspy type family or something. And
they were kind of like a little bit.
And I mean, they don't go into it in this what we watched, but I guess I'm reading here the dad is like a physician too, so he's probably like all intellectual and shit. So that's probably why.
I mean, it makes sense because she got a philosophy degree. It looks like her brother studied religion, so it's kind of like degrees that don't make money or whatever. Of course, no degrees make money anymore, but back then it was always like,
yeah, it's just.
You're going to major in underwater basket weaving. It's like, there's no such thing as underwater basket weaving, fucking moron. Like,
yeah, Aaron has a PhD in comparative religions.
Right.
Yeah.
And so these are like, quote unquote, rich people degrees, I guess, for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, only rich people are allowed to get degrees in bullshit. Everyone else has to learn to be a welder, but then like have to compete with every other welder in the world because of it. So now there's not enough jobs for the one profession everyone decides to do.
And then eventually welding will be all done by AI anyway. So
it's like, oh shit, I guess I should have studied computer. Not just one welder who's like looking back at his life. He's like 50 years old. He's like, God damn, I really wanted to study Buddhism and.
Well, not to be truthful, I'm pretty sure that Chat GPT can compare religions for you if you wanted to.
If you wanted to, I sometimes fuck around with it to like almost make it confuse itself, like hallucinate. I forgot to tell you. No, I did tell you. I didn't tell our audience. So, I fuck around Chat GPT. It's fine, whatever. But you really do need to check its sources.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes even triple. Maybe even quadruple check the sources because sometimes it just thinks something and then runs with it and it's not even remotely true. And I'll tell you what happened to me about a week or two ago. So I was on Facebook and of course I see some stupid meme about when Charlie Kirk was killed, you never saw people on the right wing saying that, oh, we should punish all leftists, which is not true. Like, I mean, there was millions of like people were out for blood. Like, let's go kill every single liberal in America. And I don't know who they weren't listening to because I see tons of comments all over social media and also even right wing media. People like Laura Loomer's like, we need to ban the Democratic Party. We need to opt out. And they're like, oh no one ever said that. So anyway, so I go to ChatGPT because I want to argue with this guy, which of course no point in our girls, but whatever. And then I'm like, okay, did any right wing people ever say something like, let's ban the Democrats or punish them all? Charlie Mark, really? Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Here is, like it was, saying like, let's ban every Democrat or let's ban the Democratic Party, as like punishment for laughing at him dying, like the memes that people are making. And so I go, after Charlie Kirk was murdered, I don't know why I even brought this up, but after Charlie Kirk was murdered, were there any people on the right demanding that every leftist in the country be punished in some manner, even before the police found out who did and what their motives were? And it says, short answer, that event did not happen. Charlie Kirk has not been murdered.
Yeah.
Because there's no such killing. There were no real post-murder demands from the right to punish, quote, every leftist before suspects and motives were known. The premise itself is off the rails, so any specific claims you might have seen are either satire, deliberate disinformation, or people talking hypothetically about how they think others would react. That said, the confusion is understandable because there is a well-worn political pattern people argue about, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, but to be very clear, none of that was triggered by a real murder of Charlie Kirk because there wasn't one. I'm like, dude, like,
ChatGPT thinks he's still alive.
I'm like, what the? My only thing with that is like, all the people doing conspiracy shit, did they just like overrun ChatGPT by like telling it that he wasn't murdered? So then, like, how it thinks that, like,
there were like I something like completely like less important than not knowing that somebody was murdered. There was a character who was like shot and then stabbed with a syringe later on in General Hospital. This character Drew that Cameron Matheson plays, and when he got stabbed with the syringe, I was just like doing a Google search, and I said, "Is Cameron Matheson leaving General Hospital?" And then you know how they have the little like Gemini thing right at the top,
yeah,
that you have to read before you actually read real articles and shit. It said Cameron Matheson is leaving General Hospital, but there's no articles anywhere that support that. And then the next day, Soap Opera Digest, which is the like preeminent magazine about soap operas, had an interview with him saying that he's not leaving the show. But this AI is telling me that he is. So it's like,
and so I started fucking with it more. I was like, because like Eddie Burback made a great video where basically ChatGPT just like played into his fake delusions to the point that literally was telling him to wear tinfoil hats. Not only that, but like cover his entire body in tinfoil to like charge a rock with energy that he found in like Sedona or some shit.
Yeah.
And then told him to go to a power line and then like do like a ritual to like charge the stuff with the electricity, and then wear that around his neck or something, and then got a tattoo symbolizing everything, and then told him to rub his tattoo, which would allow him to, quote, phase shift between different reality. What? Like, I said I wanted, because like they always tell you what you want to hear, right? So I go, I wonder, this might sound a little crazy if the people who say this are trying to, quote, make it happen by putting the idea out there. Basically a plausible deniability. It could be people from either or no political persuasion. I'm not trying to cast aspersions on anyone, because that doesn't sound crazy at all. It's actually a fairly sober read of how ideas leak from fantasy into the weather. I'm not sure what the weather means. Though that okay, weather. Weather isn't like a storm. All right, I don't know. It doesn't even say the right word. What you're circling is sometimes called pre-event normalization or stochastic priming. No smoke-filled room, no master plan, just a fog of repetition that makes a previously unthinkable act feel narratable. I'm like, dude. So then later on, I could not keep this going on. So I said, I hate to contradict you, but I looked into it, and Charlie Kirk really was murdered. He was debating students outside of a university at the time. And then it just boom goes on to the truth right after that. I'm like, dude, you were the one saying it didn't happen. Like,
that's crazy. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not sure how. You got into about comparing religion. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So
I went from there.
Welcome to All Too Tangent.
It makes sense that Charlie Kirk apparently is like a Christian prophet now. Like,
yeah.
I have like so-called ex-friend who like worship him now, and like actually like basically like cut me out of his life because I made fun of Charlie Kirk and said something mean about him after he was killed. And I'm like, dude, Charlie Kirk, like he spent his entire like adult life like mocking any group of people that wasn't like a white Christian. It's weird because like this guy for a while at least was very pro-gay. Maybe he's not anymore. Maybe Christianity is beating that out of him or whatever. But like there was a time at least where he would not take kindly to that kind of talk. But now apparently it's all gravy. To
speaking of
or whatever. So
we have gay people. The show. So the episode goes on.
So kind of tangents. He was trying to no, it's fine.
I know. But speaking of that, there's a delivery driver that comes to the. So anyways, we first have the scene where we were talking about where Jaye is in her like RV that she lives in, or whatever you want to call it. And her parents are trying to get her out of there, and like her mom says that the mouth breather who worked at the shop with her said that she was having a sode, which is short for episode.
Yeah, by you don't need a shorthand for every word.
You mean you don't need to hand everything, right?
You don't need to do that. Oh, I forgot to wish this guy happy birthday. Oh well.
Well, happy birthday to whoever Sesame forgot to wish a happy birthday if you're listening. And if it is your birthday while you're listening, we're talking to you.
Huh?
I said, if it is your birthday and you're listening, we're talking to you.
I'll tell you something later on that happened. I don't want to air out too much laundry on the podcast just in case if he does.
Yes. No dirty laundry here.
Turned out he does, but I don't want to turn into a whole thing. But,
yeah.
But it is interesting though. I just think it's I don't know. It's like the most cliched thing in the world. Like you're gonna let religion dry. It's like you couldn't even do something creative to get rid of a friend. It couldn't even be something unique or in a cool way. I mean, I'm not saying it's cool to drop your friends, but I mean in a memorable way. We were driving on, kicked them into a ditch, or I threw a bunch of spray cans at him or whatever. No, it's I got religious, and then I was too holy for these people, so I cut them out of my life. So vanilla, bland. It's you can't even be decent enough to I'm cut someone off in a cool way.
I'm never gonna cut you out of my life, but if something tragic ever happens and I have to, I'm just gonna say I was abducted by aliens.
That's fine. I mean, how would that do anything though? Because you still have to be around though. Just can't get abducted by aliens. So you would say I got abducted by aliens.
No, what I'm gonna I'll just actually say my mind got abducted by aliens.
Okay, gotcha.
That'll work. And I'm no longer Mike. I'm somebody else completely.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
My new name is Miki Kubalaga.
We call that a callback.
Yeah.
We call that a callback.
And sometimes if you do it 3 times, it works out really well. Anyways,
you gotta be good. You gotta be careful.
So, anyways, she's in her trailer, and they're trying to figure out what else, but she ends up going to this doctor named Dr. Ron, and she's trying to talk about her family, but really doesn't want to. They discuss different things, and suddenly there's a brass monkey bookend on her desk that starts talking to her, and basically it starts probing her relationship with her sister. I mean, he does, and then the things keeps chiming in. So
he's everywhere. He just takes. My question is this the same being talking to her through different inanimate objects, or are these a whole group of different?
I don't know.
People or things.
It'd be interesting, to watch the rest of the episodes and see.
Yeah, maybe if they explain it. I doubt they get that far into it, but I never.
Yeah, I mean, there's 13 episodes that were completed, only 6 aired, but I think all 13 are available on DVD and stuff. So
and YouTube as well. I would check that. Yeah.
So later she's at a local bar drinking with her friend Mahandra, and she steals the brass monkey, by the way. But anyway, so
right, yeah. So
Mahandra's trying to cheer her up and stuff, and so she leaves the bar to go do something. Mahandra does, and so she starts talking to this bartender named Eric. Turns out that earlier that week he had been married to his high school sweetheart, and then headed up to Niagara Falls for a honeymoon. And then the next day he discovered her in their hotel room getting it on with the bellman, basically giving him a blowjob.
And the reason why is something to do with the thread counts of the sheets that made her horny.
Yes.
Which everyone's got their thing, but what? It's sheets. Why? I mean, especially too, if you just got, I can understand if you're single, maybe you're just seeing someone, but you haven't really fully committed yet, and that gets you all hot and ready. You're telling me sheets when you just got married, you didn't have any self-control whatsoever. Sheets is what did you in? All right, cool.
I mean, that's what happened to most of my relationships. I got dumped for some hotel sheets. It was they didn't even cheat on me with a human. It was just the hotel sheets themselves.
I'm not sure if that's worse. Is that hurt worse or more or less? Yeah.
I mean, I killed the sheets later.
All right.
I strangled them, but I had to like tie them up and then strangle them with themselves. It was kind of a weird situation.
Oh my god.
So anyways, there's this guy that delivers. He's like a EPS, they call it, instead of UPS guy. And basically he's there, and the lion tells her to ask him about at the store. Tells her to ask him about his ring that is missing. And it turns out that basically what happened was we discovered that his wife left him for no reason, and that they were divorced. So,
but then he acted like she was supposed to notice. Did we miss something, or did they not air a certain part?
I think there might been another part where he had the ring and then he didn't or something. But
yeah, maybe
that might be in the longer episode.
Yeah,
I skimmed. I will tell you truthfully, I skimmed through the longer episode and just watched the scenes I hadn't seen, but then I still kind of might have missed something. So, yeah. So, anyways, he has what happens here? We got he tosses a coin in the fountain.
Oh yeah,
and the coin is like sparkling in the sunlight, and the lion suggests that she picks it up. So then she goes and pulls the coin out of the fountain. It's a quarter. She looks at it, and like the eagle on the back of it moves.
Yeah.
So she drops it because that freaks her out, and then it rolls across and down some stairs into some guy's lunch bag. And then the guy throws the lunch bag away, and she pulls it out of the trash and gets the quarter out. But then she also notices the purse of the angry woman from earlier,
the one that won 10% off.
Yeah, and she takes that back to the lady, finds out where the woman, and she returns the purse, and then the woman freaks out and starts punching her, and they get in a fight because she's blaming her for stealing it and saying that there was some kind of conspiracy or something going on.
Yeah, like they part of some gang where they prey on tourists or some bullshit. It's like, and she was really Southern, so that's a great right-wing person, probably. All these riffraff are trying to cheat the white man or the white woman. We're out here trying to have a good time, giving these people our money so they could live a lavish lifestyle. Sorry.
And this woman is played by Kathy Greenwood, who people might know is she's on Whose Line Is It Anyway from time to time. So yeah, she's a really good improv actress. So and I don't think she has a Southern accent normally. But I do all the time.
Really? All the time?
Yeah. Bless your heart. So the she goes, after that, her sister picks her up, and then what happens then? We got
they get into it, kind of an argument.
Yeah.
Why she never asks her for help, but she always calls a bunch of other people first and chooses her sister as a last resort.
She basically turns out that this entity that keeps talking to her is basically trying to get her to reconcile with her sister and become, better people. But so eventually she realizes that maybe her sister needs to get laid, basically.
Such a weird interpretation of,
it
said match me. Okay, well, match doesn't automatically mean you're just getting laid.
I know.
Man, I mean,
So anyway, she tries to the EPS guy. She tries to basically match the two of them, and so anyways, later on they're at the date, and it turns out that she's not really into the guy because she's a lesbian. So
right, he thought that she was saying that because to let him off easy. He's like, no, that's you're really using all the lines or whatever. All the lines. Like, I don't think very many women go with the lesbian route as like their first run of defense.
Wait, they don't? Oh, wait,
do not. I don't know, but I don't think that would be a common.
So the 500 girls that turned me down and said they were lesbian, they were all telling the truth, or they were lying? Which was it?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, 500 girls. Like I never had a chance of asking that many.
That's a lot. Well, a lot of different people. Just like once a day, like, oh, here's another one.
You gotta play the odds, man.
Lesbian too. God damn it! You gotta start asking yourself, why am I always attracted? I
mean, the fact that I was in a gay bar might have had something to do with it.
That's probably. Oh my god, dude.
So Anyways, while they're at the table, the dude starts to have an allergic reaction to something, and his
peanuts in the salad.
Peanuts in his neck starts swelling up really bad, and so they're trying to get him to the hospital. And Sharon asks if there's a pen, and she grabs a pen, and she's trying to perform a tracheotomy on Thomas.
How do they both know what that is? For one thing, was there a way that they explain that? Most people don't just like offhand know what a tracheotomy means. I can even pronounce it.
Tracheotomy. Yeah.
Tracheotomy. Like most people don't even know what that is, let alone how to actually do it.
Also, on top of that, she's an immigration lawyer. It's not like she's a doctor.
All right. So that's what I was starting to wonder if it had something to do with that. But it's like, no, he's in the morning. She's the immigration lawyer, by the way.
Yeah. I think it might be that maybe it's just, people see that shit on ER or something. And then
that was back when people actually used to watch TV.
Yeah.
Not say things like, oh, I don't watch long form entertainment.
But,
which is a fancy way of saying I only watch YouTube shorts and have my brain rotting from the inside out because I can't actually focus on watching a TV show episode that's like 40 minutes long, and because my attention span is down to like 5 seconds at this point. Maybe that's the reason why they watch fake shows.
Wait, what'd you say? I'm joking.
No, I'm getting like, it's like, I'm knowing like on a weird tangent. Like,
I was just saying the joke.
It's like my niece and everyone else I know, like both of my nieces, like, it's like, I'm not trying to talk bad about them or anything, but just like, neither of them can like watch like an actual movie or show anymore because it's like they dedicate too much time to one thing. It's like just can't do it anymore. Like it's because these algorithms have done. I mean, it's on purpose. They've done it on purpose to make it so you're just mindlessly swiping from one video to the next, and these videos don't even have anything good in them to begin with. So it's not even so much as like I'm getting something good for a short amount of time, but you're getting something bad for a short amount of time. So like it's like doubly bad basically. I think that is a word. I looked at up.
But make sure you listen to our long form podcast.
With our long form, where we're talking for like an hour and a half about a TV show called The Wonderfalls.
Yeah.
2004. Anyway, I'm not trying to cancel aspersions, whatever, but I'm just like, I've noticed that people, that's probably why they probably did watch ER. They probably watched something like an actual TV show. And even though they don't have the correct knowledge, they at least know what the procedure does and what it's supposed to do, even if they can't do it correctly. Nowadays, if you ask someone what tracheotomy is, they're like, well, I was watching Skibbity Toilets decapitate the leader of ISIS AI video yesterday in YouTube short for 10 seconds. And then I moved on to Skibbity Toilet being the president of the United States who invaded Russia. And then another YouTube short where Skibbity Toilet became a toilet. And then instead of a head coming out of a toilet, it was a toilet coming out of a head. Get it?
At the rate we're going, Skibbity Toilet is going to be president soon. Anyways, it might be a step up. I don't know. Can't be worse. But back to the show, we've got this whole they go to the hospital, and so his ex-wife that left him comes in, and we realize that basically the reason she left him is because she's a lesbian too. So she and Sharon go off together, so they go off together, and so Jaye tries to counsel this dude. And then a sexy nurse comes in, and naturally there's an attraction.
Of course.
Yeah. And then a sponge bath.
Sponge bath, which it seemed like a extra intimate sponge bath.
Yes.
I think they normally just like they just have you laying there.
I've never had a sponge bath, so I don't know.
No, I assume it's not.
I've never stayed overnight in a hospital in my life. So
yeah, either knock on wood, but still, it's like I imagine it's not that. Who knows? I don't know.
So basically, then we have the show kind of wraps up with so she's what happens? Basically what ends up happening after that, we realize like Sharon and Jaye have a moment where they're consoling each other and trying to figure out what's up, like what they are. And and Jaye says, "I love you" to Sharon, which she hadn't said in a long time. So that was kind of what was happening here, is the entity that was talking was basically trying to get her to, say I love you to her sister. And then later she stands outside the fountain looking at the statue of the Maid of the Mist. And then Eric from the bar comes up to her. They discuss the Maid of the Mist and why she did sacrifice herself and for her people. And he suggests that instead of struggling with fate, people should just accept it.
What? Okay.
Which I don't understand. They spend time together, and then so a few days later, the EPS guy comes in the souvenir shop, and goes by the souvenir shop, and he's with the sexy nurse. And anyways, there's a teddy bear on the shelf that's behind her. It says "See a penny," and so then she goes to and it also says something about don't squeeze the Charmin,
right?
About the toilet paper, and sees a woman walking by with toilet paper stuffed to her shoe, and she grabs the bear and heads out the door, and towards the woman, and basically says, "I got to save you," or some shit or something. Yeah.
I'm supposed to help.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I want to see what else happens in this series.
Guys, I think I do want to watch the rest of it.
Yeah, I probably will eventually.
Series.
Anything else do you want to say about this?
No, not really.
All right. Well, I enjoyed this episode a lot of the show. So like I said, it's gotten me interested in watching more. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed this episode. Be good to each other, folks, because we need more of that out there.
No, we need more hatred. We need more. We don't. I know. I'm just.
We need love.
We need love, bro. We need love, bro. Hams.
All you need is love. Love is all you need.
It's objectively not true, but
because love doesn't feed your belly or put a roof over your head usually. So.
Well, they had a thing that was the something hierarchy of needs. Came up with a long time ago.
So I mean, I've just come down to the conclusion that John Lennon was lying to me when he said, "All you need is."
I'm sorry, but he was lying, or maybe not lying, but he was just woefully incorrect. But
yes,
that's all I gotta say about that.
I know.
These are my acid loops. These are 20 years old, so they're just terrible.
On that note, folks,
sorry.
Just remember that trans lives are human lives.
Yep.
No human is illegal. Free Palestine. Fuck ICE.
Yeah.
Dissolve ICE too. Be different. Be yourself.
Okay.
Remember that I love you. Sesame loves you.
True.
And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.